Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing this video on my favorite Morphe brushes, and as you can see I have a ton of them. I'm going to show you close-ups, and I'm also going to give you a review and how these can be used. I have eye brushes, I have face brushes, highlighting, all name it, I have it. So I have this many because I absolutely love them, and I love that there is a brush for every different thing that you need. The quality of the ones that I picked are amazing. These ones haven't fallen apart on me, haven't shed, they've lasted a long time, they are really good at what they're supposed to be doing, and most of these, I would say 95% of these I actually picked up in store because I lived in LA last year, and their Burbank store was only about half an hour away, so I have a ton of Morphe stuff. I have a bunch of their palettes too, but I'll probably end up doing a different video on that. But yeah, if you want to know what my favorite Morphe brushes are, then just keep watching. Alright, so let's start with eyes. This first one is the Morphe MB29, and as you can see, it's this double-ended brush for eyebrows, basically. So one end has a spoolie, the other end has a really thin angle, and it's just really, really awesome for doing your eyebrows with powder or Dipbrow, whatever it is, and the spoolie on the other end is also really helpful for blending out that product. There's one really similar by Anastasia, but it's way more expensive. This one is way cheaper, and it holds up really well, it doesn't shed, and it's just awesome for the price. So this is the MB29, and I will leave all prices and information down below. Next is the famous Morphe M433, and this brush is made out of goat hair, and because of that it is just awesome for blending. This is a perfect dupe for the MAC 217, except it is way cheaper. I think I only got this for $4 or something, and it's just really awesome for getting up there in the crease and being able to blend out different shades. Because it's goat hair and it's also tapered, it's really good at blending out things in the crease without giving too much color. So this is not a packing brush, you can't get down a lot of color. I do like using this for getting color down in the crease because it's not a packing brush, so it very easily gets a little bit of pigment down and then you can blend it out really well. So if you're in the market for a great blending brush that makes eyeshadow so much easier, especially when you're trying to do a smoky eye, the M433 is it for you. Next I have the Morphe M519, and this is a little similar to the last one, except it's definitely more tapered and less fluffy. So as you can see, it's a little bit more pointy towards the top, but it's still slightly tapered towards the sides. It's goat hair once again, and this is really good for getting a little bit more precisely into the crease. So I like to put a little bit of color on this, like a shade slightly darker than the crease color, lay it down here, and then just sort of blend it out into my crease. This is a good brush to use after the last one, because after you have blended out some of your shades, this is good for laying down a shade that's darker. Again, really soft, doesn't shed at all, and this is really awesome for blending as well. Next is the Morphe S21, and I haven't really heard anyone talk about this, but I really like this brush. As you can see, it is not as tapered, and instead it's a little bit more fluffy towards the top. So because of this, this is really awesome at blending out eyeshadows. The bristles are a little bit more dense, so this is also really good for packing shadows on in the outer V. So you can pack shadows on the outer V and then also start to blend them out, but this is just really good quality. I like to use it for any sort of blending. As you can see, I've got a bunch of different blending brushes just because I feel like blending is such an important process or step in the process of putting on eyeshadow. You can get a packing brush from e.l.f. for $1, but blending brushes are really hard to find that are good, and this is another one that's really good, and this is the S21. Next I've got the Morphe E23, and as you can see, it's another blending brush, but it's way bigger than the ones that I've shown you, and again, it's way more fluffy towards the top. So this is definitely one of those brushes that you use to put down a transition shade. So for example, Creme Brulee or Peach Smoothie by Makeup Geek, just getting one of those really perfect for your skin tone shades and just buffing it all over, not being too neat with it, that's what this is perfect for. This just puts down those transition shades so well so that other shades like crease colors and darker colors can blend a lot better. And because it's so fluffy and it's a little bit less dense, it's just really good at getting that color everywhere without packing it on. Next is the Morphe MB13, and I initially picked this up because Kathleen Lights had raved about it, and I love it. I think it's awesome. So this is definitely a little bit more dense, especially towards the base. As you can see, it has a really similar shape to the Morphe M433, sorry, the Morphe M433, but even though it's the same shape, it's definitely more dense, so you'd have to feel it, but it's only fluffy towards the top. Towards the base, it's packed in there. And because of that, this is really good for laying down color, and then you can actually turn the brush where it's a little bit more thin, and then pull the color into your crease. So I don't know if you can see, it's definitely wider this way, and then when you turn the brush, it's thinner. And when you turn it, you can actually fit that perfectly into your crease and then pull the color into your inner corner. So I would say that's what this is really good for. Because it's so dense, it's also really good at packing in the outer V. Once you've packed it in the outer V, you can just turn the brush and then brush this into your crease. Again, this isn't really a blending brush. It's okay at blending because it's a little bit more tapered, but because it's so dense, I would say it's mostly good for packing it on and then brushing it into your crease just by turning it, so you've got the thinner part over here, if that makes sense. And again, this is the Morphe MB13. Alright, so I only have face brushes left next. So this is the Morphe M335, and this is the perfect concealer brush. I am someone who used to always use like a beauty blender or a sponge to apply concealer underneath my eye, but ever since I got this brush, I love applying concealer with it. It just blends concealer so perfectly underneath your eye. As you can see, it just fits so well, and it just blends it out flawlessly. You can get it all over your eyelids as well, so you don't have to prime your eyelids. It's dense enough to pick up product, but it's also fluffy enough to blend it out. It doesn't shed, it's synthetic, it's beautiful, it's just awesome. Hands down, I would recommend this if you need a concealer brush. You could also use it for spot concealing. I think that if you were to spot conceal on your face, it's better to use a flatter brush. There's one from Sedona Lace that's really good. It's kind of similar to that one by Morphe, but it's flat, as you can see. So if you need to do concealing on your face of blemishes, definitely get a more flat top one. Otherwise, the Morphe one, it's a little bit more domed, as you can see, so it's perfect for concealer underneath your eyes. Alright, next is the Morphe M438, and I love this brush for actually setting the concealer underneath your eyes. So as you can see, it just fits so perfectly under this way, and you can just like set your under eye so well with this. So you can use this with whatever powder you choose. I use the RCMA No Color powder or the Ben Nye banana powder. Just dip it into the cap with some powder, and then you can actually pack it on. It's the perfect shape to set your concealer. You can also use it to highlight your face, like you could apply highlight with it as well. It's just a multi-purpose brush that you could use literally for anything. It's great quality, it's synthetic, it's tapered, it's fluffy, and it's pretty much up to you how you want to use it. So again, this is the Morphe M438. Next is the Morphe M510 brush, and this is loved by pretty much everybody for highlighting, and for good reason. This is another goat hair brush, and it's kind of like the M433 except bigger. Like, this is the big sister of the M433. And the way people use this is to highlight. So you basically dip it in your highlighter, and then you can actually pack it on, and this is definitely a packing brush. So because it's not a fan brush, you're not going to get a more subtle highlight with this. You'll definitely get a more packed on shimmery look. So if you love that metallic look and you like that intense highlight, I would definitely say pick this up. It's really awesome for the cheekbones. It fits along your nose. It's just a really good small size. It's like not too big, it's also not too small, and it's fluffy, so it helps you blend it out. And this is just all around an awesome highlighting brush. Another one of Morphe's awesome highlighting brushes is the Morphe M501. This was recommended to me by Jacqueline, and I would say it's really similar to that last one in that it's a very similar shape, and again, it's awesome for highlighting. I think that this one actually picks up almost even more than that last one because the texture of these hairs are a little bit more rough. Because of that, they can really pick up the highlighter and then put it down. But at the same time, I've noticed that this brush sheds a little bit more than the last one, which is why that one's probably a little better. This one sheds a little bit more, and the hairs do break because of how rough they are, so you have to be really careful with how you wash this. I would definitely say like put conditioner on it or something afterwards so that they don't break and splay. This is an awesome highlighting brush. Like, it's so good at highlighting. I just hate the fact that it sheds and breaks. And this is the Morphe M501. Next is this contouring brush, which is called the Morphe M460 or M460. This is one of those brushes that people love to contour with. It is exactly like the one from NARS, the NARS Ita brush, except cheaper. So you can lay down contour really easily and then bring it up towards your temples as well. I typically don't love to contour with these because it's a little bit harder for me to actually blend it out, but if you want a sharp contour, it's really good for laying that down. It's also really good for baking. So I know Jaclyn Hill likes to bake with this. She'll just take this underneath her contour with some baking powder and then bring it all along her jawline just to lay out some of that translucent powder. So if you are into baking or into contouring, the M460 is really good, and it's a great dupe for the NARS Ita. Alright, I've got two more. This next one is the Morphe M523, and it's like this fluffy paddle brush that's made out of goat hair. Again, it is perfect for bronzing and also for contouring. I actually like this a little bit more than the last contour brush because it is more fluffy. As you can see, the hairs are a little bit more tapered, longer at the top and then shorter at the bottom, and because of that, it's really good at blending. So you can lay down a really good contour with this, but at the same time it also blends seamlessly because of the fact that it has these really short hairs. So you can bring bronzer down this way and this way really seamlessly. It is thin enough to be able to get a really chiseled look, but at the same time you can actually blend it out because of how soft and fluffy it is. So this is the Morphe M523. And then last but not least, this is the Morphe E4. This is the only brush that I have from their Elite collection. I was attracted to the E1 and the E3, but I just didn't feel like I needed it, and I just love the shape of this brush. It's just perfect for blush and then also for bronzer. I mean, you can use this for literally anything. I think it's an amazing blush brush. As you can see, it just fits perfectly, but you could also use it for bronzer, which I think is what it's actually intended for because it's angled. So whatever your needs are, this is just awesome. It doesn't shed, it's really fluffy, and the angle just really helps you get in here with your cheeks. This is a great blush brush if you're looking for one. I use the one from Real Techniques, which is fluffy and it's way bigger and it's awesome, but sometimes when you use a brush that's too fluffy, you can't really get that color in there as concentrated as you would like to. And even though I never really pack on blush, sometimes you just want it to look a little bit more blended, but at the same time you want a little bit more pigment than other times. So on those days when you want to get a little bit more blush on, this is a really good brush, and this is again the E4. Alright, so you hope you enjoyed my Morphe brush favorites. Those are the ones that I think are awesome. Those are my ride or dies. I use them like every single day. If you have tried any of these brushes and you love them too, definitely leave me a comment and let me know down below. If there's one that I didn't mention that I should try and that you think I should try, definitely let me know, because going in the store, there's so many options that it's almost like overwhelming, and yeah, there's a lot that I still need to try. So if there is a brush by Morphe that you love, then definitely leave that in the comment below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah.